is 1977. Circleville, Ohio. A town defined by white picket fences and dark, buried secrets. Ron Gillispie sits in his living room, his eyes bloodshot from reading letters that shouldn't exist. The phone rings. It's a sound that has become a death knell in this town. He picks it up. He doesn't say a word. He just listens to the sound of wind and a faint, rhythmic scratching on the other end. The sound of a pen on paper. Then a whisper. Tonight. The ink runs dry, Ron. Ron's face turns into a mask of cold realization. He grabs his .38 caliber revolver. He doesn't tell his wife where he's going. He just drives. An hour later, his truck is found crushed against a massive oak tree. Ron is dead. But when the sheriff opened the door, he didn't find a typical accident scene. Ron's gun had been fired once, not at the windshield, not at a killer in the bushes. The bullet hole was dead center in the rearview mirror. Ballistics would later prove a physical impossibility. The shot was fired from inside the cabin, aimed at the reflection of the back seat. It was as if Ron saw something sitting behind him, something so terrifying that he didn't even turn around. He just fired at the reflection, but the truck was empty. Who was sitting in Ron's back seat? Welcome to the Dark Files. This isn't just a stalking case. This is a story about a town being eaten alive by a ghost with a pen. In 1976, the letters began. They were postmarked from Columbus, 25 miles away. Yet they knew what was happening inside the locked bedrooms of Circleville. The first victim was Mary Gillispie. The letters accused her of an affair. But they weren't just accusations. They were impossible observations. The writer knew what color underwear Mary bought that Tuesday. He knew about a secret birthmark that only a doctor could have seen. Soon, everyone was a target. The mayor received a letter about a bribe he took 20 years ago. A bribe with no paper trail. The local priest received a letter about a sin he had only confessed in his private, silent prayers. The town fell into a collective psychosis. Neighbors began spying on neighbors. People started covering their windows with plywood and painting their mirrors black. But the letters kept coming. Some were found inside locked houses, sitting on kitchen tables while the doors were still bolted from the inside. Was the writer a person, or was it something that could slip through the cracks of reality? In 1982, the FBI launched a massive sting operation. They focused on the Columbus post office. They installed state-of-the-art surveillance. They had agents dressed as janitors, watching every single person who dropped a letter. One night, an agent was sitting 10 feet away from a drop box. He didn't take his eyes off it for 3 hours. He blinked once, a natural human reflex. In that half second of darkness, a stack of 60 letters appeared inside the box. The cameras showed no one, no movement, no heat signature. The letters didn't just arrive, they manifested. Forensic analysts took the letters to a lab. They found no fingerprints, no skin cells, no saliva on the stamps. The ink was a strange, oily substance that seemed to glow under UV light, but it had no chemical match on Earth. Locals began talking about the Shadow Man, a figure seen near the Circleville cemetery, standing 7 feet tall, holding a heavy leather bag. Wherever he stood, the birds stopped singing, and the temperature dropped 20 degrees. Was the writer a man, or a monster created by the town's own dark secrets? The terror reached a fever pitch in 1983. Mary Gillispie was driving her school bus when she saw a wooden sign leaning against a fence. It had her name on it. She stopped the bus. Behind the sign, she discovered a deadly booby trap. A .25 caliber pistol rigged to a tripwire, aimed directly at her chest. The gun was traced back to Paul Freshour, Mary's brother-in-law. Paul was arrested. The police thought they had their man. Paul was a quiet, intelligent man, but he swore he was being framed. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison. Paul was placed in solitary confinement. He was stripped naked. He had no pens. He had no paper. He was under 24-hour video surveillance. And yet, the letters kept coming. Same handwriting, same postmark, same impossible secrets. Paul sat in a cage, but the writer was still walking the streets. One night, a guard found Paul's cell wall covered in fresh, wet ink that smelled like ozone. It read, "You can't lock up the truth." By the time the warden arrived, the ink had vanished back into the stone. Paul was a prisoner of the law, but the law was a prisoner of the writer. For 20 long years, the letters dictated the fate of Circleville. Families were destroyed. Then, in 1994, the letters abruptly stopped. That was the same year Paul Freshour was released from prison. Coincidence? Or was the writer simply done with his experiment? But here's the most terrifying part. In the early 2000s, some of the original victims started receiving digital letters, anonymous emails, encrypted messages. They contained the same jagged, blocky handwriting, now digitized into a font. The writer didn't die. He didn't go away. He realized that the world had caught up to him. Why use a stamp when you can use an IP address? Why watch through a window when you can watch through a webcam? Forensic historians now believe the Circleville writer was a precursor to the modern age. He was the first to realize that information is the ultimate weapon. He didn't want money. He didn't want fame. He wanted to prove that no one is truly alone and no one is truly secret. Think about this. In 1977, the people of Circleville were terrified of their mailboxes. Today, we carry our mailboxes in our pockets. Have you ever had a private thought and then seen an ad for it on your phone 10 minutes later? Have you ever felt a cold shiver while sitting alone in your room, sensing that someone, or something, is watching you through that tiny lens on your laptop? The Circleville writer traded his envelopes for algorithms. He is in your cloud. He is in your metadata. He is watching you watch this video right now. He knows what you did last night. He knows the secret you haven't even told your best friend. The letters stopped because the writer found a better way to stay inside your head. He doesn't need to mail you a letter anymore because he's already living in your screen. The writer didn't go silent because he was caught. He went silent because he was satisfied. And as you turn off your screen tonight, remember one thing. Silence in Circleville wasn't peace. It was just the sound of the writer, sharpening his pen for the next victim. And this time, he knows your address. The Circleville letters is the ultimate proof that the truth is stranger than fiction. Was Paul a scapegoat? Or was the whole town a victim of a high-tech conspiracy? Tell me your theories in the comments. If you want more files like this, subscribe to the Dark Files, because some secrets should have stayed buried. And remember, once you look into the dark starts looking back at you. Don't check your mail tonight.